And here we go. Pankration philosophy coming back at you. We're here with Jacob Brennan from Pocholo Cruise. Scott somewhere, saving the world.
Like always.
Like always. That legendary Scott McDonald. But enough about Scott. Let's talk about you. Thanks for joining us, Jacob.
No problem, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, well, we hear some action going on over there. But, so, Jacob, so tell us, how did you get started on your martial arts journey?
Well, I think it would all start kind of probably about, I want to say 6 years old.
6 years old, okay.
Probably when I was about 6 years old, my cousin started karate, and my mom came up to me and my brother, and she was a single parent, and kind of wanted an outlook for us to kind of learn how to defend ourselves and do all that. And so she brought us to a karate school that my cousin was going to, and we actually started up there. And at first they had me in a kids class, and I saw my cousin and my brother, who are 5-6 years older than me, in a more adult, not adult class, but
like older kid.
Yeah, older kid class.
Yeah.
And so I was always like bummed out, and mine was at a different time. I had to sit and play like little games like
TKO, baby! Yeah, so...
Sorry,
yeah.
Sorry, you just filming?
No, it's alright, don't worry, Tim. Yeah. So apparently Kudalaba just won. Okay, so back here.
But yeah, I was in the kids class, and like I did little things like jumping over things, ducking under. Like we played a game where someone swung her stick around and pretty much had to duck it or jump it. So pretty much we played little games, not really learned how to defend ourselves or anything. Yeah. So we talked to the school, and they actually put me in the adults class, and or not adults class, but the older class with my brother and them. Yeah. So I was the youngest one, smallest one in there, and that one actually taught us things and to belt up. Yeah. And so I was in there for about, I want to say 6 years. Okay. Got all the way to my brown, well, maybe about 5 years. Got all the way to my brown black belt. Okay. About 2 weeks from my black belt test, and my mom ended up going up to ski one day. Yeah. And ended up blowing out her ACL meniscus. Oh, wow. And we weren't able to get brought to the class anymore. Yeah. So... It's not like you and your brother gonna drive yourself. Yeah, so we kind of just stopped training, as you would say, and going to karate. Until her knee got better, and then she offered for us to go back. And by then we kind of just were burnt out, so, you know, she offered things like gymnastics, which was weird for her to, you know, offer for two boys.
Yeah, for like two boys. And you were like, what, 12 or something?
Yeah, I was like,
you want to just go into gymnastics? Okay.
Not feeling that, but then she was like, they also have a karate school there, you could always try that one, and kept kind of offering it, and we didn't really do it. We kind of just burnt out on it, started playing video games, going outside, doing all that more. Okay. And then for there we kind of I had a hiatus of just not training and just being a normal kid, and you know, not normal, I was a troublemaker, but you know, normal troublemaker kid.
So just being a kid, just not in karate or at the time.
And then probably in about high school I had an incident. It was, well, I hate saying this word, but it was assault. Yeah. And in the middle of the class, it was the first quarter of school, about September, I think 16th, 17th. So it's really like the first 2 weeks of school.
Okay, so were you in 9th grade at the time?
No, I was in about 11th grade.
11th grade, okay, so junior.
And so then I was walking, and me and my girlfriend at the time were arguing or bickering, and some kid decided to pick me up and slam me on my head.
Oh, damn! Really?
Yeah, I don't remember this. This is kind of what I've been told. But what ended up happening is, I guess I was walking, me and her were talking, bickering, and a guy. It's a high school. Like, all halls are busy. Yeah. And a guy got pushed into me, and I said, "Hey, man, watch out!" Yeah. And so happened his friend was right behind me, got really mad, must have been having a bad day, was a good wrestler, actually, one of the best in our school. Yeah. And decided to pick me up and slam me straight on my head. Goddamn. On cement. I tried to get up and go after him. I fell, got up, tried to go after him, fell. People put me against the wall. All I could say over and over again is, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. Yeah. And so they ended up walking me to the office, sat there for an hour.
Yeah.
Got a CT scan at the hospital, got brought out on a stretcher, and had issues with that for about a month or two after I had medical issues.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, well, longer than that, but about 2 months is when I can actually start doing stuff and all that, and that kid only got suspended for about 2 weeks. Oh. So he was in school before I was, just with medical issues. And then about then is when my mom offered that she knew someone that was a 5-time world kickboxing champion.
Okay.
And he was had an MMA gym that she was like, you could always go and do and try, and maybe, you did karate, maybe you'll like it again. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, actually, yeah, I'm going to try that, and so we kind of set up a big thing because I had medical issues still going on.
Yes, so what exactly were your medical issues that happened from?
Well, I had amnesia for about 2 days. I don't remember the day before or that day of the incident happening.
Okay.
I ended up waking up about 8 o'clock, but my mom said I was up completely the whole time.
Okay.
My mind clicked back on.
Okay.
So I had those issues for a little bit, memory issues. Like, I remember one thing was really funny. It was right around Wolverine time came out, like the first Wolverine movie.
Wolverine Origins?
First Deadpool,
Yeah.
Horrible thing that it is.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that I just saw it in theaters like a week ago.
Yeah.
But what really ended up happening is it was out on DVD.
Okay.
And it came out on DVD like a week ago.
Okay.
So I was like blending stuff, thinking we went to one thing when we didn't, and so I had some issues.
Okay. Wow.
And then was vomiting, had stomach issues, pretty much all post-concussion.
So post-concussion syndrome.
And had that for about over a year.
Really? Just felt that for over a year?
Yeah, and I got studies. I went and do I had to do biofeedback. I had to do CT scans over and over again. Do little I call them not the special needs tests and all that to kind of test where you are in schooling and all that. I had to redo that.
Yeah.
Because my math skills went down, which was really weird because I was in special needs kind of for reading and writing before that, and then after I was up to date with reading and writing. Yeah. But down on math.
Huh.
So, and that was really weird because I ended up doing homeschooling the rest of my junior year.
Okay.
So I had those issues. That's pretty much it. But with the symptoms of post-concussion.
Post-concussion. Okay. So so pretty severe concussion sounds like it.
Yeah, it was.
And then, and then you started at the MMA school. So
about 2 months after my mom offered it
2 months
to
afterwards.
Me. Okay. And when I started there, they only let me work with Michelle, which is Victor's wife.
Okay.
Victor Solier is a 5-time world kickboxing champion.
Okay.
And his wife's a black belt under him, so she kind of was the first person I worked with. Same with a girl named Margaret McGregor, actually worked under Matt. She was one of the first female boxers to box a guy.
Okay.
So really old school people. So I only could work with them. The first little bit, they wouldn't let me work with any of the fighters or any of the guys just because of my injury and liability for them, which I understood. So pretty much did that for about 6 months with her. She taught me my first jiu-jitsu stuff, my first striking.
Okay.
I still did basic little classes with Victor and them, but nothing none of that live rolling, none of the live sparring or any of that.
So just mainly technique stuff.
Yeah. So did that about 6 months, and then finally Victor and them kind of let me in once all my symptoms died down.
And started to clear. Okay.
Trained there for quite a while. I think about 2-3 years, almost full time.
Okay. So, you were training both grappling and kickboxing?
Yeah, it was mainly kickboxing because Victor's mainly the kickboxer.
Yeah.
But we did have a jiu-jitsu guy who was a 10th Planet purple belt.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I got all my twister moves, my rubber guard and stuff.
What? Rubber guard, you don't say. Okay.
Not that I get to use it much on you guys because you kind of smash it right away, but that is what I started with.
Okay, but it started with the school pretty much mainly. Mm-hmm. So it was mainly kickboxing with some
grappling and stuff. It was an MMA gym. We had a few fighters fighting out. And, only a few good pros that were actually making it seem.
Okay.
So yeah, I trained there for a while, but they kind of had some bad apples is what I like to say. People that just didn't pay.
Yeah.
And it was cheap. It was like, you know, $60 for the month.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cheap.
Which is really cheap
for the area.
Open gym. Yeah. You know, you can do whatever you want pretty much while you're there. Like, it was awesome.
Okay.
And so it cost about $60. People wouldn't even pay that. You know, and so Victor ended up having to close it down.
Awesome.
And when they closed it down, Victor kind of told me, because he knew I needed the training and kind of like that it was my outlook to kind of protect myself and get my confidence back. And that's really, I feel like, why I got into martial arts, just to get my confidence back, to be not have to watch my back. Because for that first little bit after that incident, I would walk around and watch my back, and there was a few times his friends and stuff would even come and, like, I was at Safeway one time, would come up, start banging on my car, saying, "Get out, I'll whoop your ass," and I just sat there and was like, "I'm not getting out, you're on camera, not doing this," you know, so
recording this for my safety.
Yeah, so I kind of had some really like confidence issues and not feeling like I could protect myself. So after Victor talked to me about it, he was like, "I'm gonna send you to a jiu-jitsu school, because I know you love it." Because that was one of the main things I did with Victor, like one thing I caught on really fast. And so he sent me to this gym called Turner Martial Arts, and it was a pure jiu-jitsu school. And I started training there, and that's when I started actually getting belted and training in the gi. And that, for about 2 years I trained there and didn't really do any striking at all. Like the most we would do is
the gym was just grappling.
Yeah, it was just grappling. So we did a lot of just like kick drills. Like he was a Taekwondo black belt too, but he only did Taekwondo warm-ups to kind of warm us up for flexibility and stuff, which I see. And then, I understood. But a lot of it was just like kick drills where you would like just kick your leg up in one place, do round kicks, and so it was kind of cool that he did it, but it got really boring fast for me, where I've already did so much with Victor already.
Because you've done a lot of kickboxing
and so that was the big thing with that. But we did do that a little bit, and that's when I really started getting belted, like I said. And I think it took about a year until I got my blue belt. Because he knew I trained with Victor, and then I had some experience, because we cross-trained there every so often before. And then probably about a year and a half from there is when I kind of got to a point I was burnt out from the gym. I just was the only small guy. We had guys built like Tim. You know, like
Ender.
And exactly, like so jacked. Not even gonna lie, actually, it's kind of like Ender's built, where he's long and lengthy. But we had a guy there that was, I kind of call him a D bag, because he's like one of those grapplers that when he grapples with you, kind of crank on stuff. And so that was one thing that I kind of watched out for. But yeah, it was kind of got burnt out, and so I told Chris I was gonna go out here to MC and try to train and see if I could maybe get in with the DJ crew, is what I said at the time. Because I was really trying to see
DJ.
Kind of, because
get some records.
He's the best at our weight class, and at that time I was one of the best at my side of the water. You know, at least I felt like I was, where the gyms I was training at. And so I kind of got, like I said, got burnt out. It was like I needed to train with people that are actually going to push me. That are actually going to, like...
And you didn't really have a striking element either, right?
And that too. And, you know, Victor would open his gym every so often during that time, and I would go and train every so often about after my blue belt. For that whole white to blue, he never had the gym open. But after that, he opened it every so often. And... So when I finally told Chris and was like, I'm going to go train at AMC, came out, first person, I came out on Saturday. That day sticks in my head to this thing, because I didn't know how far of a drive it was. I drive 2 hours as it is.
So, because you drive about 2 hours to get to Kirkland.
So when I left the first day, I remember I left at like 9 o'clock.
Okay.
No, 8 o'clock.
So at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and so I'm like, maybe they open early. It says they open about 11 for the grappling. Maybe if I get there early, they'll be open.
Yeah.
I sure enough get here at like 9:30 because there's like no traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like,
you wait for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm like, great. So I sat in my car for about an hour and a half till I think Tony showed up, opened the door.
Yeah.
I went in, talked to I don't even remember who was the front desk. I think it was the Asian guy. What was his name?
Gary.
Gary, yeah.
Gary, yeah.
And
Gary.
So,
meow.
I talked to him. He let me go in there and train. I paid and let me go in there and train. And so I trained with Tony the first day. Tony beat me up. But it showed me, that level right away that I was like, wow, this is totally different. Yeah. And Tony's, my height, but a little bit bigger. But anyone my height, I still kind of count at my size. You know, it's like, okay, I could work with you.
And did you work mainly, was it mostly gi or was it like gi and no gi?
Cernas, we did gi and no gi. So what we did when we were there is did gi for every Thursday and Sunday. Okay. And then we did no gi all day Tuesdays. Okay. And so we would only train about 2 hours a night. Okay. And so we would do warm-ups for about 30-45 minutes, technique for 30 minutes, and then roll for 30 minutes. So it really wasn't as much rolling as like we get now, where we can get hours and stuff, and we barely wrestled. We didn't really have a wrestling base. Yeah. If anything, we had a judo base, and that was another thing I went and did during that time of when I was starting to get burnt out with Cernas.
Doing judo?
Is I went to a judo school that was close to my house, actually. It's like 2 minutes. I can walk to the gym. That's
walk
funny.
To the judo gym? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so back there, so you're grappling. Okay, so you grappled, and then what happened
after that, the MMA sparring started, and when I remember going up to Matt the first day and introducing myself, being like a total kid, like, it's an honor to meet you. Like, I think I was even talking under my breath, where he's like, "What? Yeah. Like, what did you say?" I'm like, "Okay." Yeah. Can I spar? No. Yeah. He's like, oh, he knew Victor, so and I emailed them about a week before I came out too. Oh, okay. And they just told me to come on out and introduce myself and all that. So I let him know I was the person who emailed, and he's like, oh, okay, so you know Victor and all that. And ever since then, he told me I couldn't spar and that I needed to sit and watch for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So I ended up sitting and watching every single Saturday. I came in every Saturday, grappled, and then sat and watched for about 2 or 3 weeks. And then finally, he was like, you can spar. And then I was like, yes. Yeah. And then I think I stayed here for about another 4 or 5 months. Yeah. And then I ended up going back to Chris's for a while to, I think it was about another 4 months, because I think I left in June and came back in January. Okay. The next year. So about half a year. Yeah, so it was a while off again. And then during that time I got my purple belt. Okay, yeah. And then told Chris that I was gonna make the move and that it was a better thing off for me. And he said he was fine with it. I kind of feel like he wasn't. Because ever since then, I'm a person where, like, my coaches are like my father, because I never had a father growing up, so I kind of look at them as
like a father figure.
Yeah, like a father figure. People who teach me and raise me in a way, and I've grew up in martial arts, kind of, so all these instructors really made me. So I still text Chris every, like, Christmas or any really big Father's Day and stuff. I'll message him, Victor, and I even now added Matt onto my list where I, add them into it and just kind of let them know, hey, happy Father's Day. Thank you guys for just being great coaches and helping me. And really anyone who's taught me has made me who I am, so I kind of appreciate everyone, so I kind of try to give the shout outs where they deserve. And he never really replies back. Okay. So I feel like he's a little still off edge on it, you know. But Victor, you know, sends back every time Matt sends back. So
yeah.
And that was another thing I think with that gym is what got me burnt out is when we would go to compete, I would be the coach because he wouldn't show up.
Oh, okay.
So, like, the only one he showed up was my first tournament, and the reason he showed up was because one of my other teammates was dating his daughter, and it was his first tournament.
Oh, okay.
At least this is what I feel is why he went up. Because
you really feel supported when you go out there.
Yeah, because when I went out there, he wasn't really behind me at my first few rounds.
Yeah.
He showed up late.
Yeah.
Was there the whole time for his other student.
For the guy dating his daughter, yeah. Okay.
But he wasn't there really for me, so it kind of, me and my girlfriend Lily, you know, were both just like burnt out and kind of like, why weren't you there?
Yeah.
Like, why do I, like, every tournament I would be there coaching. There'd be Jeremy, my friend, who trained there too. We'd go compete. I remember doing a Naga, and he was on one mat and I was on another. I finished my competition. He'd be already in a minute of his. I would run over, coach him, and then run back and do my next match. So it's like you don't really feel like
a team element there.
Yeah, you don't feel a team element, and you're the one
you're the one supposed to be
ruins your
running
grappling. You know, like I felt like I never really did good at those tournaments. First because I felt nerves. I never was a competitor as it was. The only competitions I did before that was karate. Yeah. And I did katas. Yeah. And that was like the main thing I was good at. I always got second place. Remember getting one that was bigger than me at the time. Okay. Yeah. You know, so that was like the biggest competition I did, which isn't really nerve-wracking.
Before you did grappling tournaments.
So when I did grappling tournaments, it really started tearing me up. Like mentally, like all that stuff, and plus not having a coach you doing it, and you're coaching and stepping on that plate. Like, it was a lot for me.
It's a lot for you, especially if, you know, for you not having that competition experience. Yeah. Already. Okay. So anyway, so you become a purple belt, done all this grappling, and then you decide maybe to switch to AMC, and then so what factored in your decision, like other than of course, you know, what you just said.
Well, a lot of that, and just the skill, like I like what Matt said one of the first times I was here. He said the reason we are the way AMC is the way it is because it's a difference between a community college and an Ivy League school. You know, AMC is like an Ivy League school. When you're there, you feel like you're almost being tested at all times. And like the stuff you're learning is really gonna work. You know, and it's really complex. Some of the things like that would be a big difference that I could tell in that little time that I knew I needed to make the change was like just in the grappling too. Is because when I first learned a Kimura, you know, we would just learn, grab it, pin it to the side, bring it close to the body, bring it down his back. Yeah. Okay. But when I came here, just even though your class, you know, like the stuff you taught, I was like, wow. Like these little things make that move so much easier. Like turning the wrist, you know, the certain way, bringing it in tighter, bending the wrist if you need to direct it where you need it. All those things were like, that's game-changing stuff. And that's the difference between community college or Ivy League, you know, like.
So the level of instruction you felt.
Yeah, exactly. That was the big thing, and size. Like I said, there was no one my size over there.
Whereas there's like a lot of midgets.
Yeah, over at AMC. Yeah. Small guy crews, what we like to call it.
Yeah, a bunch of Oompa Loompas.
So we had that. I think. What else made me do it? I feel like those mainly are like the big ones. Yeah. And that it's a gym that had everything.
Yeah, where you can learn everything.
Because like I said, Victor would open up every so often, and when Victor would open up, I would go train at Victor's for 2 hours. Yeah. Leave his just slightly early before they close the gym, and drive all the way to Cerna's was in Chimacum, which is by Port Townsend.
Oh wow! So how far is that from where you live?
That's about 45 minutes from where I live.
It's almost an hour.
Yeah. Okay. So I would drive, and Victor's is only 5-10 minutes from my house. Yeah. So I would drive 10 minutes to Victor's, do 2 hours there, leave there, drive 45 minutes to 50 minutes to cross the Hood Canal, which the Hood Canal opens. So that 45 minutes can turn to an hour and 30 because they open the bridge and then they have to close it.
Yeah.
You know, so that sucked. Okay. And so I would drive out there and then train grappling and then drive home. Okay. So I would train 2 places to get really both the training I wanted. Mm-hmm. So I kind of was like, well, AMC is all of that, you know, and better instructing, you know. Kickboxing, I felt like Victor's was actually up to par with like AMC and stuff, but he never knew clinch. He never knew like how to actually break it into MMA based of being able to trick people with your hands and all that.
So I guess that like, that translation towards MMA.
Yeah. Okay. So that's really, I think, like what made me do the move, like big move and all that.
Okay. So then, so you're there, you're training AMC. So then, I mean, you mentioned some competition, but then, so what about competition made you want to do it, like from there? Like, what was the first competition, do you remember, that you did?
Well, the first competition, it was funny, was that one I was telling you where me and my friend who was dating his daughter went, and it was probably about, I want to say 2011, 2012.
Okay, and then how long had you been training?
Actually, no, maybe take that back. 2012, 2013, I want to say. And I've been training for about 2-3 years.
Okay.
2-3 years.
Okay, a couple of years.
So I want to say it's more towards the 2013. And then it was funny because the first person I had to compete against missed weight.
Yeah.
And so I ended up still grappling him. I think I ended up getting caught in the armbar because he missed weight. I still got to move up on the bracket. So I was all excited. So like, hey, I'm still in this. I can still win. And then I'm looking around and I see, you know, some friendly faces now, but not so friendly there. And so I'm looking around and I see Saranjan. And he's actually the person I was about to grapple next. So I'm all like eyeing him out. And reminds you on my drive there, I'm like looking at cars and I'm seeing like jiu-jitsu stickers. Because this is back when it was at Bonnie Lake.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a while ago. And so one of the people I drove next to was Saranjan. And so I'm looking at him. I'm like, he looks like my size. I'm going to be competing against him. I'm almost certain of this. I'm almost certain. Sure enough, we get there. I look around. I'm like, I'm gonna be competing against him. you know, and Saranjan just won by points against someone and pretty dominated him pretty well. So I was like, I'm kind of intimidated. I just lost my first match. But luckily got to move on, so I ended up going against him. I also saw Sean in the bracket too.
Sean, Slim Shady.
Slim Shady. And saw him and I was like, oh, okay. So me and him actually sat and talked for a minute. Like, me and him were just both chatty Cathy's kind of just talking.
It's funny how that people that you meet end up intersecting.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because me and Sean really, like, go back to that tournament and then on. Like, we ran into each other so many different tournaments.
And grappling tournaments.
But Saranjan, that's, like, the only one I really competed against him in. So me and him ended up
kind of hit himself up.
So me and him ended up going against each other right after that. And during that match, it was pretty funny. He took me down. I ended up sitting in rubber guard for about 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And
beginner was like what, 5? Is it 6-minute rounds? I forget.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's like something like that. That's still a large part.
Yeah, and like in those tournaments, they're supposed to tell you, hey, keep moving.
Action. Yeah.
And so it's on top too. You know, he's on top, so he should be able to be the one passing. Yeah, it was in gi.
It was in gi.
And so I'm sitting there, and I'm just in rubber guard, just holding it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not moving. You're the one who has to move. I'm not moving.
You should pass.
So we stayed there for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
And then he ended up passing.
Yeah.
Ended up getting back into rubber guard, holding there for about 2 minutes. He ended up passing. That he actually kept. Okay. And so he got the points.
Okay.
And then he sat there for the rest of the time. He didn't try to pass. He didn't try to submit me. Saranjan, if you hear this. I remember this to this day.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I remember this to this day. No more of that.
Okay.
And so he ended up beating me by points. And so I was like, man, that sucked. He ended up winning the whole bracket. He got first. Him and Sean, I think, went against each other. And Sean ended up getting third.
Okay.
I got fourth.
Yeah.
Almost made it. And then I did no-gi that day and grappled. But I think what really wanted me to do the competition thing was getting that confidence.
Yeah.
You know, like, because of everything that happened to me and everything. I wanted to fight right away. That was another thing. Like right after that, I wanted to fight.
You wanted to fight,
and that's why I wanted. Like when I got into training, I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to spar! I can't wait to spar!"
You're
and then
training so you can get that.
So what sucked is because I was kind of during a lawsuit during that because of the assault, and you can't fight during a lawsuit.
Oh yeah,
that won't look very good at all, you know.
Yeah.
And I had medical issues, so I really shouldn't have fought anyway. So I did the smart thing and said no. I'm gonna just train, get good. And so during that whole time, the only thing I could do was grappling tournaments. That was the only thing. Like my lawyer was like, "Yeah, that's not gonna bug anything.
Yeah.
As long as you don't post your videos on it and don't get slammed on your head."
Yeah.
You know, and I lied to him, saying no. We kind of start, you know, like on the ground.
Yeah.
Kind of a lie.
Yeah. But you make it sound less physical.
Less physical than it really was because I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to compete.
Yeah, you had that.
So I did that, and like I said, the first few competitions, I will admit it, I sucked. Like I probably looked like garbage. Probably looked like wacky waving inflatable arm man just out there on the mat trying to do something. Like did not look very good. And then ended up.
But that was, you know, like you said, your first competition.
Yeah, first few competitions.
I'm sure that kind of. Well, I'm sure just like finding, because there's a difference, because you realize the difference between training, doing something, and then having to do it, you know, when there's something on the line.
Yeah.
Against opponents you don't know.
And that's the thing is I never had that.
You never had that experience before.
So like the first few tournaments, I would tear myself apart after. I'd be like, you suck, you didn't do anything, why didn't you win? Why didn't you do
just like very hard on yourself?
You could have done this, you could have done that. And so it was really bad. It would eat me up to the point like before the next tournament, I'd start beating myself up, thinking I'm already gonna lose.
So you would end like low and then start low before you.
Yeah, before even things. So like before, like I remember it was right before I did the second revolution. I did. I always hated gi, so I never really planned on winning it when I went in it. I kind of just did it for
like, well, I guess I'm doing gi
to please my instructor because he wanted us to. So I kind of just did that.
Yeah.
But I remember every time I went into gi, kind of beating myself up, like, you're not gonna win this. I ain't even doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're even trying.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, go out there. Oh, I ended up getting, you know, loop choked in the first 30 seconds. That looked awesome. Not.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'd beat myself up, and then when I would go
like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, and so then I would end up going into like no-gi, and I always was really good at no-gi, so I still would do good, but because I felt like I beat myself up so bad from gi that I would never actually compete. My stomach would hurt.
Yeah, you had some like you almost had like negative momentum.
Yeah, like I would get acid reflex. I would get to the point like nerves actually kicked in. Like it sucked.
Or the nerves actually giving you a physical response.
Yeah, and making me like, I remember one time like doing 5-minute rounds, which I was actually doing conditioning and stuff, so 5 minutes shouldn't bug me.
Yeah.
I would get up and run to the trash can and sit there and almost dry heave.
And it wasn't even like the physical aspect.
It's really
it was just you.
It's just me being mental, like you're tired, you know. So it took me a while to get over that, but I want to say it was the Naga. Of my first Naga in Portland that I did.
Okay.
Where I kind of got over that.
And what started shifting for you? Was it just like the way you were looking at it?
It was my first real win.
Okay.
And I think that's what did it.
Kind of started.
I think that's what did it. It's because like Naga does it different from Revolution where you do no gi first and then gi.
Oh, okay.
So what ended up happening is I went down there, ran into Sean, and so me and him were talking, and that was like the third time I ran into him. So me and him were talking, and I'm like, we're going to be in the same bracket again.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, we get down on the mat, and he's not in my bracket. And so I'm like, oh, what happened? You know, and we're all like waving across from the mat at each other.
Yeah.
And so I'm going against a guy from, I think it was Salem. He was from Salem, Oregon.
Okay.
And he was a wrestler. And because Naga does it different too, they make it if you've wrestled for over 2 to 3 years.
Oh, they bump you up.
Bump you into intermediate. And I was at intermediate at the time.
Yeah.
So I was grappling with this kid, and he was a little smaller than me.
Yeah.
And he shot in. I went down to guillotine.
Got a guillotine.
And started fighting it. And first 30 seconds, I got it and like tightened it up to the point it was like gargling. Like first 10 seconds he was in it.
Yeah.
And I like flipped him, get him mounted guillotine, and get it. And he taps, and I like add one of those like not cocky moments, but you see it after all the big tournaments where someone lets go of the choke and just stands tall, all proud, like.
Yeah.
That was me. And then that was also one of the ones where I was gonna or Jeremy was competing on the other mat, and so I had to run over and coach him. So I did that and got all cocky and like walked over.
Yeah.
And was so cocky that I forgot to run over and coach Jeremy during his match because I was just so pumped. I was like running over to him, like, I just won. She's like, "Don't you have to go over to Jeremy?" I'm like, ran over there. I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that. Go, go, go."
Yeah.
You know, so that was, I think, the first big thing that changed it because I had that feeling.
You had like that aha moment, like,
I can
you
can actually do this. You can actually
Yeah.
beat someone who's been grappling and wrestling for 3 years. You know, like, oh, okay, you can do this. So I really like focused on that. That win during that whole time. Did pretty good actually during that tournament. I think I placed second. Ended up losing because a guy flying armbarred me in the first thing, and he was really good. He was a game guy. He ended up getting his purple belt like 2 months after that.
Damn.
I followed
that simple move, the flying armbar.
And I always followed most of the people I competed against after, just to see what they're up to and see if they're going to be at my next tournament or something like that. So I always followed them and like cheered them on.
Okay.
So after that one, that was a big one that changed me and was like, now I'm stuck. And so after that, I did like 3 tournaments on, and I actually did pretty good. And after that intermediate one, I went again, did a Revolution at intermediate again, won that one, beat the guy with a rear naked choke with no hooks, like just squeezed and stood up and started choking him.
Okay.
And then the second time we went, because it was just me and him in the bracket.
Okay, so it was like a round robin thing.
I knew I already beat him once, so I kind of pulled a Saranjan.
Yeah.
And held him down, even though I told him not to. So I totally took him down and held him down and kind of just laid and prayed. And ended up winning that one. And after that, I ended up moving up to Advance. And then did the Revolution, did Advance. And no one showed up for my weight class. And so went up, fought about 145ers. And I remember going against a brown belt and like wrestling him and stuff. And it's really funny because he ended up getting the takedown about a minute in, and then taking my back and choke me out really fast. Yeah. And then he comes up to me after, he's like, "Dude, you're really strong. Are you a wrestler? Have you been wrestling for years?" And I'm like, I suck at wrestling. Don't even like bring that word up. Like, it makes me like want to cry because I suck at it.
Wrestling's a curse word to me.
Yeah, like really is. And so, you know, he gave me a lot of props on it though, and I think that was a big thing too that built me up.
You could hang with like a
with a brown belt in an upper weight class, and so a lot of the times I just kept going in Advanced. And I remember doing one again in Portland again against a guy named Alex Kraulis. He's actually a pro fighter.
Oh, I think that sounds kind of familiar.
He was a big thing for like combat sports.
Yeah, combat's.
I don't remember that combat.
I forgot what organization, but I definitely heard.
You know what one I'm talking about? Anyway, he was their amateur champ for 125 for a while. And he was really good, and I ended up competing against him and did really good. Like, and that was, I still had stomach issues. Like, I still had
the nerves and all that.
And still had all the issues. I really didn't get over that until I came here.
Okay.
So I still have those issues and stuff like that. But I remember doing really good even having those. And then, like I said, this guy's a pro, you know, so I'm like,
he's a pro now, so
I can actually do this.
You starting to get that more confidence.
And that was a little bit before, I think 6 months before I came to AMC2.
Before you made that switch? Okay.
At least that first time I came to AMC.
Okay.
Because I remember after I came to AMC2, I competed against Sean one more time. After I left.
Back again. Yeah.
When I tell you I got a purple belt. And that's why it was so funny when he came into the gym. I think you were there too. I was like, I competed against that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if he's going to come after me or if I'm going to come after him. Like, but I ended up me and him becoming best buds. You know how that all went. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really what drove me to do it. That's
what drove you to compete. So then, you're AMC for a little bit, and then you go back, and then you make the switch. So then as you made that switch, what was you want to go to competition. So you've done a bunch of grappling competition. What was the change in like preparing for striking for you?
Well, preparing for it, that's a good question actually, because I always kind of prepared for it. All before, because I wanted to do it and I wanted to fight MMA, but I had the whole, lawyer stuff going and all that. So once I kind of came to AMC, that stuff kind of came close to an end.
Yeah, it was closer to ending. Yeah.
So right when I kind of moved here is really when I was like, okay, you got to train like you're going to be fighting MMA the next week.
Yeah.
So that's kind of when I really started making a full like thing, because I also, like I said, was training at 2 different places, not really learning how to blend it as well.
How to blend it together.
Even though I learned myself how to blend it, and that was a big way I taught myself a lot. I did a lot of YouTube videos.
Yeah. YouTube, Kung Fu and YouTube.
Best trainer.
Yeah. just like I don't know if you listened to Joel's episode, but that's all he had in his fight in MMA. He learned how to do a guillotine on YouTube, and then would train Kung Fu and choke the guy out with the guillotine.
It works. It works.
Yeah,
it's what helped me. That's what taught me how to blend it, though. Like just watching those videos and all that.
You're your own coach, so you're.
Yeah, and that's exactly kind of how to coach myself. So I kind of learned to do that. Anyways, and so right when I came to AMC, I started preparing for that.
Try to prepare as if you were for a fight. Yeah.
And then once my lawyer stuff ended, that was when I was like, okay,
time to go in.
Yeah. That's when I started talking to Matt. And was like, can I do, like kickboxing fight? Can I do something? And he's like, we'll do smoker.
Okay.
And he still said it a little bit too, like he wanted to wait. So I trained a little more, and then he told me when one came up, and then we did that. And that one, I still had a little bit of nerves, but what was weird is because I feel like I actually had the coaching staff here and the support from all of my teammates. Yeah, it wasn't as bad.
So that helped you with your nerves, like knowing that you had support, that there was like a team around you.
Yeah, exactly. Like
that you're not just by yourself.
Almost like in my last fight, how Vincent said, "Win or lose, we're all still proud of you. We're all still this." Like, I never had that at my old gym. I never, like, with Victor I did, they were still proud of me and stuff. Every tournament they would still say I'm proud of you, but they weren't really my jiu-jitsu coach at the time. So it was more of like a family thing to me, like when they said it was like if my mom was like, I'm proud of you. It's not the same. It's good, it's nice, but sometimes you want it from a coach, someone that you look up to so much that's like, I want to say I'm proud of you, and you'd be like, oh wow, he's so proud of me. Like I never really got that. And so when I came here in that first smoker, and all you guys were like, we got you, man. Like you go in there, you do your thing. We think you can do it, And Greg being like, I'm at the end of it, man. I'm proud of you. You did great. Like that was a big thing. That was like, wow, like why be stressed out? Why be nerved out to go fight and anything when you have this? Like win or lose, you have the support. And it kind of just, I like to be in a martial artist mentality at all times, where it sucks to lose, but like any martial artist know that's the best time we're gonna learn. That's when we're gonna learn the most. So that's really kind of what I try to keep in mind, as much as it really doesn't work out all the time, because I'll still beat myself up every so often, and be like, oh, you could have done this better, you could have done this and won the fight, you could have done this and finished the smoker. But I tried not to do it as much, and I kind of caught myself and learned from my mistakes, and know that the day moves on. Tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and still move on. That was a big thing, like with this last fight. I was like, it sucks, I lost, but I moved on. Like I'm still living. I gotta go get ice cream. I gotta go, do all these nice cool things. True. Go jump off a cliff if I want, and have base jump or skydive or any of that.
It's not like your life is over.
And that was a big thing. I think, like with Scott, you, and I think Vincent, it was with the Robbie Lawler.
Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald
fight.
Like how important,
if I went around asking people at a mall, like, do you remember this fight? Do you remember this changes the earth? You know, everyone's gonna be like, no, and no. Yeah. Like, it didn't change anything. It may have changed their life. Yeah. And, you know, the sport a little bit. Sport, but, well,
like, people... But I feel like, especially... It's weird. I understand what you're saying, you know, fighting myself. But it's like, that moment really only matters... It matters as much as you allow it to. You know? Because the way I look at, you know, all my fights is like, they happen and, you know, they're important at the time. But I can only extract... You know, I should only extract the useful stuff from it, because like if I carry on to any other negative things, then it's not helping me. It's holding me back.
Exactly.
Right from there. So and it's that because it's that balance too. Because you know, one you have to be okay with it passing, but then you can't be completely okay with, you know, just not improving. So it's that fine balance where someone can be almost like too okay with it, and then that's when they lose their fire.
And turn people who are like 0-8 and stuff, like just I'm gonna do the same thing I've always done, go in there, you know, like at
You're
least
almost
like
too relaxed.
Exactly. And that's like a thing I know I learned a lot from that fight. I learned a whole bunch, and I know the next time I go out I'm gonna be 10 times better, and that's because I sat and analyzed it myself. You know, me and you are gonna go over it and analyze it, and we've talked about that. So I know that, and then I'm gonna get better. So why stress about it and be like, I lost. This sucks. This sucks. You know, like, can't change it. Can't go back and be like, I'm going to re-step in this cage. I'm going to redo this. Like, I'm going to, you know, kick you in the shin really hard right now. You know, like, no, I can't change any of that.
There's no use overthinking and talking about it. But I mean, let's just talk about, I guess, you know, your first fight, your first kickboxing fight, you know, where you did like, so what? Because I think you learned. I mean, I know you. Well, I know you learned a lot. Like from that, but can you like expand upon it?
With that one, that was a hard one. That was my first fight. After, like I said, all those years waiting. That was a big thing with that. Is like, that was my first fight.
Like you'd been
ever in my life,
really building up.
I'm like ever really in my life, other than like little like street scraps and stuff, which I don't really count as fights because it's not like, we're going to square up right now. It's more of, I got cheap shotted or someone else got cheap shotted. Like, it's not really a fight in my eyes. It's more of just cheap shots.
Yeah, but this is where you've been training.
But this is, like,
you weighed in, you know the guy, you know the guy's been preparing. It's like a different element.
Oh, yeah, by far. So I sat and really, like, thought about it the whole time, like, through camp, which we all do. We all, like, set up scenarios where like, we're gonna win, we're gonna lose, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna go up and down. You have your up and downs.
Yeah, we fought on that same card, didn't
we? We did. And so that was a good like camp because it was my first one. We worked really hard. We did great. I knew I was prepared for it. But I think what really happened, like when I went out there, this is my first fight. You know, so I didn't know like. I've sparred and stuff, you know. We all know. Like I've sparred for years.
For sure, but there's like, you know, there's like a sparring, and then there's like, you know, courtesy, you know, but then there's also, you know, just the way you have to train. You can't. I mean, you can only do fight speed for like realistically only for like a few times.
So like that first fight was my big thing. I think was, and it's still my thing now. Is actually I just need to learn how to first. Go in there and want to take someone's head off. Like me, I get over things really fast. So even if I say like with my last fight, I got taken down one of the times. And I was like, man, why did you let yourself get taken down? So I got mad. I was like, oh, I'm going to try to get him. And then 2 seconds later, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick it down. I can move here. I can do all that, which I should almost still stayed a little bit mad about it and be like, this person should never have been able to take me down. Like, boom, boom, boom. But I kind of got over it. I was like, okay, I can move from here.
Almost where you're too flexible.
And I don't know if that's because I'm confident wherever I'm at. I don't know if it's just because that's like a safety mechanism for myself to not get those nerves anymore. Of just staying so calm and like, okay, I can just handle this. Or, okay, I can't change it, so I'm just going to be okay with it. But that's not fighting, you know, and I'm not in there when I'm in there to actually kill someone, which, you know, that's something I'm working on, and I have it. You see it in my fights at certain moments that I'm like, oh I can dig, I can finish this, you know, I can actually You see it at moments.
Yeah, that aggressiveness.
So I know it's there. I just need to fine tune some things, and I think adapting my training a little bit and all that will help a lot. Mm-hmm. But in that first fight, that's what it kind of was the beginning of showing me that.
Yeah.
Because I went in there and pretty much sparred the kid. Yeah. You know, I was like, oh, okay, pop, 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 pop. Oh, face kick. Yeah. Oh, I can actually do that. Oh, I can leg kick. You know, that was the first time too. No shin guards.
Yeah, no shin guards.
So that was another thing, is learning to take those and be like, that hurts, but you can move on. You know, which actually wasn't the hard part of it. I think just learning the speed.
I think it's just fight speed.
Yeah, like you said, like you saw the first thing I threw, I landed on my butt because I threw everything in that kick.
Trying to kill shot,
kill shot going. Yeah. You know, so I threw it and like instantly fell on my butt and was like, that's too hard. So then from there on, kind of like patty cake, and then I was like, oh, you're not gonna do that again.
Then you almost adjusted too much.
Yeah, and then I never actually went after him, and like and it's not like a cocky thing. I know I'm better than most of the people I'm going to step in the ring with. Yeah. Just because I've trained for so long, and the people I've trained with, like, it's just a totally different caliber from what other people will get to. Like, even going down to Kings and training, you know, like, I got to train with the Machida brothers. You know, that's alone is cool, you know, and I got to spar with Chinzo. Yeah. And even Chinzo said I was good, you know. So there's people down there that are pros. Yeah. Saying I'm good.
Yeah, so you have confidence in your skills.
Yeah, and so I know it's there. I just needed to, I think, find the fire. Yeah. And get it really going. And I feel like a little bit more I fight, a little less nerves I get, and a little more of that fire I'm getting. Yeah. To actually get it, because this one really fired me up after. Yeah, like it was one of those things like I should not have lost. Like, why did you lose? Why, like. You know, so I started beating myself up a little bit at first, and then I kind of caught myself and was like, you need to use this to just get back in the gym, get better. And plus I was injured. Yeah. And so that was a hard thing keeping me up.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Because you have to recover, and then you have to go towards that. Well, I guess we might as well talk about, you know, your last fight, because you got, well, I mean, because you injured yourself pretty early, because you got taken down. You got pretty much.
It was in the first, I think, 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, and you fell right on your shoulder. You ended up separating your AC joint. From there. Yeah, and that was your right shoulder, correct?
Yes, right shoulder. Yeah. So that one was. I think that's a fight that was good for me. You know, I would love to get it back. Maybe one day we'll be able to redo it. Yeah. But
I mean, you took a lot of lessons from it. I mean, really, because you find out about yourself. You know, because I mean, really, I feel, especially like in those like tumultuous situations, because a lot of people, you know, they can say like, oh man, if this happened to me, I can do this. I mean, a lot of people can say that, but how many people could actually do it?
Exactly.
You know, like especially, I mean, you pretty much fought, I mean, one-handed for like about 10 minutes.
And that was the big thing with that fight, like. I actually still, like, looking at it, I could see me winning. Yeah. You know, like, I got taken down a lot, but, I did get overhand a lot. Yeah. But my clinch, I actually was more active than he was. And ground game, like, he didn't do any damage once he took down. So I can understand why he won, because if you're looking at it from takedowns and a little bit of control of the fight, he had maybe a little bit more control and more takedowns.
Yeah, just pressuring and aggression.
But if you look at actually damage and activity,
like, and I guess almost
attack,
and also finishing.
Yeah, and like trying to actually finish the fight. Yeah. I felt like I was actually there more to try to finish it. Like I was actually. Maybe not on the feet, but on the ground. I was armbarring, I was going for guillotines, I went for a triangle. Yeah. You know, did a lot of things that were actually trying to finish him. Yeah, for
sure. I remember in the second, like, you were really close on a couple from there. Like, like the armbar was real close from there.
Yeah, that's the thing. That armbar was at the end of the third, and that's how the fight ended. Yeah. And that one still was like 30, you know, you always think that in those situations, like, what if 30 more seconds happened? I could have maybe finished it.
Or adjust here from there. But yeah, I mean, you know, stuff it's like it's in the past and it's just utilizing it.
Yeah, me and Jaden, me and the opponent talked about it and stuff, and I mean, me and him both learned so much.
Yeah,
so.
well, I mean, he's a tough kid. He came in there, you know, put a lot of pressure, you know, on you, and then tried to, I mean, came in and went after it. But it just shows that sometimes, you know, sometimes skill isn't enough. It's just how it goes.
He was actually a better fighter that day, and I will say it straight. Yeah. He was actually a better fighter that day. You know, I could be the better martial artist and more experienced one. Yeah. And this is kind of what I think I was just talking about this with someone about. I think it was Armand. Okay. Someone was saying, "You're just better than me." He was talking about like my grappling. He was like, "You're just better than me."
But you know, but if you give that up, then you'll never get past it.
Yeah, and what I told him was like, "Well, that's not right." Yeah. Because I'm not better than you. I may be more experienced than you, but I'm not better than you. Yeah. Because what could happen is we could grapple. You can get me in an armbar 2 seconds. Yeah. Does that mean you're better than me? Does that mean you're more experienced than me, or does that just mean you got me?
It means you got
You know,
an armbar is an armbar. You can train striking more. You can still get hit.
And experience is an actual time frame, like how long you've been doing something. Like that's actually my experience. Yeah. His experience could be shorter and still catch me, you know, and still beat me at times. Yeah. You know, so it's not a matter that he's really better. He may be better that moment, but I would never say someone's really better than someone else all the time. Yeah. You know, there's like Max Holloway. This is the thing too that I took away after my last fight. I watched a video from Max Holloway. And he said, it was talking about how he dealt with the Conor McGregor loss. Yeah. And how, definitely now looking at it, how Conor had all this fame and how Max could have been that. Yeah. And if he would have beat Conor, how he would have been
how he would have gotten that.
You know, and Max said this, he was like, I know 9 out of 10 times if me and him fought, I'm going to win. He's like, even if it's really not the truth, I'm going to feel that way. And that's how I get over it. Yeah. Because I know that I'm better than what I showed that night. And I know that I can do it. And that's what all of us say. You know, when we lose, it's normally like, I could have been better. Yeah. You know I could do so much more. Yeah. But we didn't. Yeah. You know, so that's kind of why... You
got to live with that.
You got to live with it and just kind of know that we fought 9 out of 10 times, who's really going to win. Yeah. You know, and... The smart thing to do is what Max did and kind of just bet on yourself. Yeah. You know, like, I know 9 out of 10 times I'm going to win. Even if really deep down inside I may not feel that, I'm going to say it. You know, like...
It's the thing where you almost got to fake it till you make it. Yeah. You know? But you have to... If you're not willing to bet on yourself, then you shouldn't be in there. That's how I feel.
That's exactly
because then that means you don't believe in yourself enough. Especially because when the chips are down and when it comes to like do or die situations, you can't have doubt. Yep. You know, you just can't. Yep. Like no matter how realistic it should be, you should still have that, you know, that sense that you can still win. You know, and it's like it's almost, I know that's the thing, because I feel like you almost have to be rationally irrational in how well you're gonna do. Yeah. Like from there, especially this is me coming from because I lost my first 2 MMA fights and they were pretty. They're pretty crazy. Looking back on it, like
I remember watching your first fight. That was like crazy when I actually saw the video. I'm like, whoa, that's a tough fight.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. And then it was like back and forth. We were just like, it was like, I guess it was a brawl, but it's like almost. But we were, the guy was good. The guy was good. He had good power.
He was game. And then he was game. Sandbagging in my eyes.
Yeah, he was game. He was athletic. All that. But but all of that. But I feel all that fuels that, because it was like a drag out war. And he became the champion afterwards. Oh, see, yeah. But whatever. It's like, but I feel like because the only thing I can work on is myself. Yep. So I have to like go on and build myself like afterwards. I don't think I really did that properly, maybe, because I ended up losing the next one too. Yep. But then it's like the fact that you have to just learn from it.
And I think like change doesn't happen right away, as much as we want it to. Yeah. I think that's another thing I kind of got from this fight is. I kind of did the same thing I did my first fight. Yeah. Even though my first MMA fight, I didn't do that as much, and I actually won, and I controlled and did all that. Yeah. I kind of just go into autopilot, and so know that change of getting that pop and angerness is gonna come. It's just gonna take time, you know. And like Matt said, we're gonna have to sit in the gym and probably try to pick on me and try to get something to go and
get something going. Yeah, I gotta get that. Yeah, I gotta get that. Yeah, because you have to. It's like, you know, you have to break those habits. You know, and like those do take time. Yeah. You know, from there, and it's, you know, improving, especially that, you know, just improving yourself. You know, from there. But I feel like you know, that attitude thing, it's a big one. It's a big one a lot of people don't think about. Because a lot of people think about skill, you know. Skill is a good part of it.
And I think that was my mistake, is for so long I thought of skill. Like, I like to look at myself as a technician. You know, I like to break things down a lot. And so I felt like with these first 3 fights, I kind of broke myself down, or tried to break things down so much in the fight. That it would make me look smarter on purpose, because I'm like, oh, you're gonna jab, you're gonna leg kick. Okay, if you trick him like this, you can overhook. Oh, okay, that didn't work. Because he's just coming at me and trying to punch me. You know, like, and I'm not actually doing that to him. I'm trying to outthink him and do all that. And that's why I think with something Scott said about the reason why he was fighting and why he kind of stopped is after he found himself. You know, and that's something I thank Scott for saying, because really that taught me a lot and kind of showed me why I'm in this. Because it showed me
what questions you're trying to answer.
Because it showed me exactly what I'm trying to answer. And I feel like it's very close to what Scott needed to answer with how he kind of said he was bullied at times. He was this. He needed that confidence. And this is something I told my girlfriend too after my fight, is I kind of was like, I trained all this time and I still can't defend myself like I want to. Like, why is that? What's going on? And it's kind of similar to what Scott is saying. Like, he wanted that confidence to know, like, if something popped off, I know I'm good. He can control himself. And he can take care of the situation. I want that. You know, like, I know I have it, and I know if something really popped off, and I've already showed it at, like, concerts and stuff. Or if someone, you know, in the pit or something, go and try to punch me, I'll, you know, dodge it, take him down or something. I've been in little moments like that, and so I know I can actually do it. But I want that, like, in that 6 weeks of being like, okay, when this day comes, I'm gonna whoop this kid's butt, and I'm still gonna be, you know,
being sharp, and then being able to call it when you need to.
Exactly, and be that confident, and like, okay, I got this. Pop, 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 pop. And that's the one thing I feel like. It's not that I'm confident when I'm in there, because really I am. Like, I am, and I feel I wouldn't go as light as I am if I wasn't, because I would feel if I wasn't confident, I would go in there and just like go and try to go crazy.
But it's almost that balance, you know. You almost come in because you have to. I guess it's because it's not. I guess it's not just confidence. It's just like the. It's like the mentality.
Body control.
Yeah, body control. Or I guess what. Shit.
Well, it's hard to explain.
It's hard to exactly explain, but I feel like. I guess I can just say like what I think about, because like when I think about when I go in there, I mean, it's not even that much thing, but I feel like I'm just going in there like to execute, you know? Like actually execute, like kill a person, you know, from there. No, because that's just the mentality. Because I feel like, okay, like the nice stuff is gone, and I'm here to, you know, I'm here to teach a lesson, and that's how it is, and it's like, you know, it's a cruel world out there, but you know, I'll be your best teacher. So I mean, that's just the way I look at things, and that's how, you know, I go about, you know, being, I guess, you gotta be ruthless. I mean, but it's like, it's that fine thing of being, you know, going in there like a jackass, just like trying to win shit, but then also almost being too, I guess, sure of yourself, and just saying, oh, I just gotta set, because at the end of the day, it's like it's a very like. It's a very physical, you know,
like straightforward, but not straightforward at the same time. Like,
exactly.
You got to go in there and try to kill him. But you got to do it in a very technical way of stepping out, kicking him, cutting angles, and that's what I think takes that amateur to the high levels. You know, like when you're amateur, you're figuring that all out. You don't know really what you're doing. That's why we see people go in there just being crazy, or you see people like me where. They go in there too calm. They look good. You know, they look like they know what they're doing.
It's like finding that balance of, it's like where you got to use that. I guess you have to use that. Let's see, what is it? It's almost, you have to use that, you know, that adrenaline to fuel you. But you can't be like so calm where you're like not urgency. I think that's the thing.
That's
you got to be urgent in your actions, like from there. You got to be like, oh, this is like life and death, because. I feel like, because I go in there like, I know I'm better than all those people, but I feel like, oh, now it's time to make that stamp.
Yeah.
You know, from there, and it's like being able to willing to cause that damage. And I feel like I'm getting better at working towards that. But it's like, you know, just go, because I know I'm going in there to mess somebody up.
Yep.
So, but it's like being okay with it, and I feel like that's the thing, because it's such a foreign idea.
Yep.
You know, especially like in this day and age with like politeness and a bunch of bullshit. But you have to, like, there's not really a lot of times that you can go in and say, oh, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna fight that person.
Yep.
And it's like, you know, as much as you want to, as much, you know, as a lot of people think they can, it's still like that. You have to like activate like your mind, you know, and then like even me, I still gotta put myself like in that, and it's still like as much as natural as I made it, people still need to make it work. Everyone needs to make it work. Yep. You still see professionals end up going sometimes like
you see them crack and not fight, you know, as well as they did the time before,
you know,
or
yeah.
Like even Bibiano's friend Jeremy Kennedy, you know, like he kind of fought like that. Like his first fight looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then he even said his last fight when he got beat up by the Australian guy.
Yeah, by the Australian Volkanovski.
Yeah, when he got beat up by him, he even said he's like, I never turned on. Like I never turned that switch on to actually want to go in and actually fight him.
That's got a lot of experience. Was like 10-0.
Yeah, so that was another thing.
It can happen to anybody.
Yeah, and that was like, another thing that kind of showed me like, okay, you know, there's gonna be moments where your mind just doesn't work the way you want it to, and doesn't let your body do it, or any of that. And that's why I think with Scott's whole stuff of getting the confidence and knowing he has that control in the ring, that was really what I feel like brings me to martial arts,
to want to do it,
and brings me to wanting to fight. And I know that I'll probably be in the same boat of Scott one day, of being like getting to the point where I am confident and be like, okay, you know, I'll fight when I want to.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be that like day job of I need to fight. Where kind of like right now, that's kind of how I am. I want to fight because I want to get that confidence as fast as possible. I want to get that point where I'm like,
that desire.
I got this. You know, I know no matter what, a big, you know, 600-pound guy comes up to me, like I'm still going to be good. You know, like I want to be like Royce Gracie. I want to be the point where, you know, I know anywhere, any person, I'll be able to handle myself, you know. And I know that's really not a realistic, like,
realistic, man.
Thing.
The groin of the eyes of the body.
At the same time, I feel like some of it is, you know, being able to actually have, like I said, in those important moments, say my car's about to get jacked. You know, maybe like, bud.
I know, right?
Now turn the gun on you. Go away, give me your car.
I saw Ender eyeing your car. He wants it. Yeah.
You know, I think that's really what brings me to martial arts. So like that's my core, is just finding that confidence in myself, and I feel like that kind of shows with why I got into it too. You know, like, and I never realized it until now, which is kind of stupid. You know, I think it's more of an ego thing too. I never want to admit that I didn't feel confident to be able to defend myself. You know,
it takes a lot. You know, I mean, imagine how long it took Scott, like, you know, to figure that out. And this is, you know, a guy who was overwhelmingly dominant. Yeah. You know, but then you know, it's funny because, you know, it's almost your avenues of weakness where you find your greatest strength. Yeah. And that's exactly, you know, what happened with Scott. I mean, I'm sure that happens with like a lot of people. A lot of people, you know, end up lacking in stuff, you know, from there. You know, I mean, of course, like, you know, like even me, like in this fighting thing, you know, it's like, it's scary.
Yeah, at first, you know, like you said, you lost your first few fights, you know, and I think that's another thing when, like, Greg told me with this last one, he was like, you know, Cholo, I've never seen that boy cry in my life, but when he lost his fight, he did, you know, and he's like, don't beat yourself up, don't do all that, you know, you're not the only person who's done this. Yeah. And that's another thing, like, that drives me during camp sometimes, because we all have those moments where, like, why are we fucking doing this?
Yeah, like just the moments of doubt.
Yeah, like, why are we doing this? But then you look at it, and there's girls that do this, there's guys that do this, there's those 13 or something that was at that one fight, kickboxing, they were vicious.
Yeah, they were vicious.
You know, and I'm like, huh. You know, they do this, I can do this, you know?
Right.
So that's really, I feel, like, that's why I think I really thank Scott for kind of what he said, because he helped me get to that point faster than what I would have. Yeah. You know, because now I know that's why I'm in it. Exactly. You know, and now I have that goal to drive me, instead of, I felt like this whole time I didn't know what I was trying to fight for. I just wanted to fight.
Yeah, you're kind of like aimless. You're kind of searching for something, but you weren't quite sure what you're searching for.
Yeah, and this all happened after that fight too. You know, so now just in that my last fight to now, I feel like I've grown so much.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm prepared to actually go on this journey to find that self for me, you know.
Yeah, it's like, and that's why making that decision.
And that's why I think you guys for this podcast, you know, you guys just in training in general, you know, you, Scott, everyone at AMC has really made me a real like martial artist, a real gentleman. I feel like everything we have at our gym really makes people great, you know, like makes people be real people and care, like, you know, like I remember my car dying one time and someone was like, hey, I'll jump your car, you got this, you know, no problem, no hesitation. I didn't even ask, they just like, I got you, you know, like that's the type of people I feel like we have at AMC. And even if they're not there or not like that when they're there, they kind of get funneled out because they see what type of people we are, and you know, like we don't really mess around. We're there to work. We're there to actually make ourselves better, not just play around and have fun.
Yeah.
You know, there's some days we're sitting around playing around, have fun, but that's because we worked so hard. 6 weeks before that,
it's that
maybe we're gonna take 2 weeks where we kind of just relax, have a little fun time in the gym. You know.
Yeah.
But we don't do that when people are in camp because you know we know that's important to keep that mentality when people are in camp. You know, like after this, I don't know if anyone has fights anytime soon, but I imagine we're kind of going to dial down again now that DJ and James are going to fight, you know.
James, Jay White
for
that championship title.
First fight, First
Ryan
title.
Kim versus I know versus a guy has wrestler tattooed on his chest.
I saw that too.
Like right. I don't know what, but I think this guy's gonna want to strike with you.
I hope he wins this fight though. I really feel like he will.
Yeah,
he seems pretty prepared.
But but it's that team element, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. I mean, and I think you know you hit it pretty well. I think it's just that, and that's what what you were looking for, like that team, like a team of family that's looking that's looking out for you. And I feel like that's what contributes a lot to your growth, and that contributes to other people's growth too. And just the willingness to be, to be vulnerable, you know, like from that, because I feel like that's a big part a lot of people don't talk about, and this like very masculine, you know, thing where hey, there's like a lot of, honestly, look at like two of the people that we already had on here, like Shatrine and Morgan, like really two of the most like vicious people like, like you'll ever see, like in terms of like fighting wise, but you wouldn't suspect it if you just looked at them, you know. But it's like, you know, sometimes it's in your avenues of wanting, or where you feel like you have a need, where you find your biggest strength, like for sure. And I feel like the same thing like for you, because you know the last camp we were talking about things, and you trying to get like into that, you know, fighting set. You're coming off, you know, your win and understanding, you know, what works. But now I feel like this throws like another wrench into your things, like understanding like, oh, what attitude do you need?
Yeah, like, that's the real thing. Like, what attitude?
Yeah, and I think now it's very, you know, it's very certain, you know, what you need. I feel like it's gonna help you a lot, like for this for sure.
That's why I feel like I'm gonna take a little bit off still, like kind of
give yourself time to.
Like I feel like November is gonna be a good time for me. I kind of want to fight. I don't really eat Thanksgiving food or anything, anyways. So that would give me time to fight.
Yeah.
Take time off for Christmas after.
Yeah.
And all that. And I would like to, you know, maybe talk to Matt about getting some fights on my side of the water.
Yeah.
I think that would help me too, is having a little more of my support.
Yeah.
Because all I get over here is my mom, my aunt, and then you guys, which is still a lot more than what I've ever had, but I'd have, you know, so many of my friends, high school friends, all that, if I get a fight over on my side of the water.
Andrew's gonna make a float with your face on it.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? So that's such a nice guy.
I'm okay with that.
I'm on it.
Yeah. And
can I wear one of your wigs for it?
Yes.
Oh man,
you can wear all the wigs.
All the wigs at once?
Yes.
All the wigs. Oh man. Yeah.
That might be a big thing.
Nice. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up pretty well. I mean, it's pretty good. You know, another one for the team.
Oh yeah.
But thanks for coming on, Jacob. And if you want to support the team of Pankration Philosophy, you know, these unpaid interns I have. But you can go to patreon.com. That's www.patreon.com/Pankration. And our Patreon page is there. And anything helps, especially with these two starving guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay, though. They don't have any families to feed.
They're sticking bones.
Yeah, I mean, Mikhail needs a haircut, for sure. I mean, are the scissors in your house broken, lad? Well, yeah. All right. That's all. Signing out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.